Hello, we are here to tell you about some of the ways that we use geospatial technologies in our classroom. So first off, who are we? My name is Brittany Wedland and I teach at Big Lake High School in Big Lake, Minnesota.
And I'm Alyssa Larson and I teach at Waconia High School in Waconia, Minnesota.
So obviously we're both teaching in the metro area, and if it looks like you're seeing double, we are twins, and so we both teach the same subjects in two different metro schools. And so we have been working on implementing our standards-based inquiry lessons for many years and just been incorporating more and more geospatial skills and tools as we've been learning about them.
So our goal today is to kind of just share with you some projects that we've had some success with and hopefully inspire you to do the same. So our first project is probably the one that we've been working on the longest. It's called the City Planning Project, and students use ArcGIS and follow the geographic inquiry process and be able to determine a business that they feel would be successful in their community. And so that's what we love about it, is it's very applicable to what students are doing right now. The way that it works is it has several parts to it, but each part does incorporate, like we said, those geospatial skills. The first part is they explore different layers, and then they actually use the data from those layers to be able to argue why their city should allow them to open whatever business that they want. A lot of students do restaurants, but sometimes we have others as well. And then the project culminates in an argumentative essay to City Council. So just to give you an idea of what this can look like, most cities have zoning maps within ArcGIS. So for example, the city of Waconia has their maps that students can use and be able to add and save their own maps, but sometimes you have to kind of do a little bit of background searching in order to get that accomplished. Britt, do you want to tell a little bit about that for Big Lake?
Yeah, so while this is loading, so I had to work with the city planner of Big Lake, but they were super eager. I just sent a quick email, using the city webpage, and then they were able to give me the file to easily upload. But a lot of times, like Waconia's was just right in there. And so then what we have happen is kids will pull up the zoning map, and then we teach them with some previous lessons that we actually got from people on this GIS panel, kind of how to use the tools, and then that way they can implement it. So Alyssa, if you want to take it back and kind of explain a little bit more.
So the cool thing about these maps is then we can also be able to explain to students how businesses actually able to decide where they want to build. And so in the case of Waconia, they have layers that not only show the current zoning, but also future projections. And that is also kind of interesting for students to see, like, for example, this area here isn't developed yet, but they're planning on doing that. And so students not only have to choose the area that they want to develop, but then they analyze different data layers to kind of further encourage the city and show why it's going to be successful. So it really does take that higher level thinking to show why does this data matter. And so we've laid it all out in a step-by-step process, and we actually have them do screenshots and things like that just to kind of make sure that they know what layer they're using, and just a way to kind of keep things organized.
Yeah, and then one of the other projects, as we've been dealing with this unprecedented time, is we've been always teaching, or at least for the past few years, teaching that geo-inquiry cycle. And so last spring when we were at home doing distance learning, I created this simple project which used the ArcGIS COVID-19 data that you saw in the news, and they did a little analysis of it. So what they did, if you want to, yep, there you go. So what they did is they looked at this John Hopkins, data sheet, and I had them take a look at the background of the map, and basically there was this blank template that they then could just use in order to follow the steps. And so you can see down at the bottom of the screen, they had to generate some geographic questions, and then they had to explore the data, both just from the map right in front of them, but then also using the data that, is behind the map to then make conclusions about why things are happening and what they think should happen. So just really following that geo-inquiry cycle that we've been wanting them to do, and how applicable. I mean, this is something that they're dealing with in their life. So then here you can see, this is just some examples of some student work, and a little quote there at the top of just a student that found this very meaningful. We found that students said that it was something that they could easily, apply to their lives, And it was something that made this information that they saw passing by on the news, like, oh, this is where they're getting in the information. And talk about making ArcGIS relevant. They saw that this wasn't just something that their teachers were talking at them, telling them they should use it. It's real world stuff that is being used by professionals all the time.
Definitely. So one last project we wanted to show you is a little bit different because we're not just looking at specific data. We're going to kind of allow a lot of student choice. And so this is the mapping the story of a culture. And this also uses the Esri product story maps that I know another teacher is going to expand upon in the panel discussion. But we wanted to show you how we utilize it. So one of the standards in our course is obviously learning about culture. And so what students do here is they have, once again, an organizational Google document that they do some preliminary research on demographics, but we actually have them use ArcGIS layers as a starting point to kind of learn about population and climate and things like that before moving on to step 2, where they actually can look up specific information about their country and to go into more specific details about norms and folkways, taboos, things like that. But then what we love about this is the story map kind of puts it all together. And so in this project, we get to use the skills that they learned about in Unit 1 with all those geospatial skills, and then continue to utilize it in what we use as Unit 2. So I'm just going to show you an example here, just to kind of show you how there's a lot of different ways that students can be creative with this project. I especially love the updated version of this program because it, like I said, it really allows a lot of students creativity. This is an example on the country of Nepal. And so students can put pictures here or videos, but then what I love as well is that it can embed these ArcGIS maps that they have used previously. And so it's going to take a little bit to load, but again, students can modify them to add major cities or other data points. And like I said, anything from population to climate, and then they can go on and add other media and images and whatnot. And this is really easy to modify for different levels because you can obviously require different parts and steps based on student need. And then what we also love about it is it's really easy then for students to share this with their classmates. And especially now when we have students that are in school and at home, this is really great because students can learn from these, whether they're in the classroom or at home on their own device. So really fun projects, and I'm actually introducing it with my current students next week.
So, and we keep modifying and changing things as there are changes to ArcGIS and it becomes even more user-friendly. And these are just a sampling. We're people that love to connect. So if you are interested in learning more about how we use it, or you want to just collaborate, reach out to us via email or Twitter or whatever, and we'll be looking forward to working with you. So thanks for watching and have a great day.